Hello and welcome to Pass TV. I'm Blaine Barton, your host, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter at #PassTV. We've got a great interview here. We got Meredith Ryan. How you doing, Meredith?
Good. How are you, Blaine?
And Kathi Kellenberger. How you doing?
Doing great.
Well, welcome to Pass TV. And first, before we get into the interview, kind of get to know you a little bit on the personal side. So why don't we start with Meredith? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm a DBA for Exact Target.
Nice.
Which is a Salesforce.com company. We're an email service provider, do marketing emails.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was a production DBA for about 6 years in an operations team. I'm out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I live there with my 8-year-old daughter and my family. And
hi.
Yeah, hi.
Excellent. Hey, cool.
Yeah, I'm also the chapter leader for the Women in Technology virtual chapter here at PASS, and I'm active in my local chapter in Albuquerque.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And how about yourself?
Yeah. I'm a senior consultant with Pragmatic Works, and I've been there about 1.5 years. And I've been involved with the SQL community for about 10 years.
Okay, great.
And love SQL, love talking about SQL. And as far as like the WIT chapter, I do a lot with the community outreach, kind of spread our message around to all the communities.
All right, excellent. So that's the topic is Women in Technology, otherwise known as WIT. If you hear WIT, you'll know that it's the big program around women in technology. So let's talk a little bit about that. First, let's talk about the history.
Okay, so the Women in Technology chapter within PASS is going on its 11th year. Right now, yeah. We started out with a very, very small luncheon that had about 73 people attending the panel.
Which is still a good size.
Which is still a good size, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
And this year we're expecting about 1,000 people to join us for our panel.
That's simply crazy.
Yeah.
That's very good. That's awesome. So, and what's the topics for this session?
Today we're going to talk about gender stereotypes, other sorts of social stereotypes, and how you overcome those stereotypes and deal with diversity and inclusion in the workplace.
Very good.
So it's not just limited to the typical gender roles that we find ourselves playing into, but all kinds of diversity issues in the workplace and how you get around them and how you help people feel more included so that we get the best products and the best work done.
Yeah, and I know that Rob Farley and some other folks I think are joining you, and I noticed this morning that it was Kilt Day.
Yes.
So I saw the gentleman running around in kilts.
Yeah.
And there's a connection there.
There is
right?
a connection there.
We
There
talked
is a
about it
connection
earlier
there.
with Grant and folks, but to kind of bring it together here.
Yeah. So it's a really good way for the community to stand up and say, you know what, we support this. We put our heart into it. We're going to put some effort into it. And it's a great thing. It's a great, immediate, in-your-face way to show that the community really does support what we're trying to do and bring the conversation up, and that they're not afraid to talk about it.
Well, you started with a small group, and then now maybe over 1,000 people in that session. So that session is taking place here, but you're not here. So you're online, you're on the internet, you're worldwide. So you're probably wondering, you can't go to the WIT lunch, but however, you can be involved. Tell them where they might be able to get involved.
So the best place to go would be to wit.sqlpass.org. It's right off the main SQL Pass website.
Okay.
There are a couple of contact me buttons and forms there. It talks a little bit about some of the activities that we do, some of the activities that Kathi tries to coordinate and facilitate that happen globally. We've done a lot of work with SQL Saturdays, and I'll actually let Kathi talk about that work.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. So we've had the luncheon here, the panel here for several years. Somebody got the idea, I think it was around 2009, to have a similar session at an Indie Tech Fest. And so Jessica Moss and I went ahead and did it, and then all of a sudden we're like, why aren't we, that's really when the SQL Saturdays were just really starting to take off, and we were like, well, why aren't we doing this at SQL Rally, which we had for a while, and I think we still have some of those in SQL Saturdays. So what I'm trying to do is, be a facilitator to that. I can't make it to every SQL Saturday, obviously, but I can be a facilitator that if the SQL Saturday organizers are interested, I can help lead that, help them figure out how to do it, and have several calls to kind of coach them to have it. And it's really important to me to get the word out. And to me, the most important thing, there's a lot of important things, but it's making sure that our kids, are encouraged and think about maybe going into hopefully technology or some STEM career. Yeah. And that's kind of the focus that I've had. Get the word out, make sure that you know, the dads that are in IT, that they're letting their teenage daughters know, hey, this is a cool career for you.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we do. We don't have to talk about that topic at the SQL Saturday panels, but that is probably the most common, you know, encouraging the next generation.
And making sure that you kind of carry the legacy and bolt those on at those SQL Saturdays. Make them aware of women in technology. We should always have a session at every SQL Saturday.
Yeah.
And there's lots of SQL Saturdays.
Yes.
So as we grow that community part of it, then they eventually come to the PASS Summit and take advantage of the Women in Technology Luncheon, right?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So once again, it's been great having you on PASS TV. Meredith Ryan, Kathi Kellenberger. So any last words you want to say about Women in Technology and the luncheon today?
Just come and enjoy and join the conversation. Don't be afraid to talk about those topics, and you know, and listen to everybody's input. I think that everybody has input on the conversations that we have.
Right.
So.
And it's not just for the women. We want the guys there.
Yeah, we want everybody.
Yeah, I know we have a couple gentlemen on the panel as well.
We have the we want the guys there because, you know, the issues affect all of us.
Right.
It's not really gender specific.
It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on PASS TV.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have a chance to go on the PASS Summit website, you can look it up in Women in Technology. Check out the link there. Make sure you get engaged with some SQL Saturday in your local area or the SQL Rally as well. So we're going to be getting into our next sponsor in just a moment. But once again, keep following us on Twitter at #PassTV. I know we've got SQL Clinic. We're asking questions to come in about the SQL Clinic. So make sure you send those in through Twitter. And with that, we got our next interview here. We got Redgate. How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Hi, I'm Blaine Barton. So we got David Atkinson and Annabelle Bradford, so from Redgate. So let's get to know you a little bit. First, we'll start with you. We'll just tell us a little about yourself, what you're doing with Redgate, and also, you know, what you're thinking about the PASS Summit.
Okay, I've been at Redgate since 2005. I'm a product manager.
Okay.
So I've product managed mainly the SQL developer tools. So from SQL Compare, SQL Source Control, SQL Prompt, and PASS Summit. We've attended this, well, ever since I've been at Redgate at least, but I think a few years before that, and it's been great. It's a fantastic place to engage our customers and speak to people who haven't used our tools, although it's increasingly difficult to find anyone new to Redgate, but that's good. But we've got new tools to introduce to existing customers, and that's been fantastic.
Sure, you spent some time down on the floor down there, the exhibition floor?
Exactly, so we're talking to customers there. We've got this whole new thing that we're doing. We're asking existing customers to report issues, so feature requests or any little bugs that they've found, and we're trying to fix them this week. So we've got a team back in Cambridge that we sort of relay these issues to, and their challenge is to fix as many of these issues within the week so that we can present them back to the users. So that's a really cool thing.
That's great. That's fantastic. And kind of close that customer loop as well. You know, getting feedback from our customers, taking that into product development, making some changes, being nimble, right, and making those changes that there are being requested.
Yeah.
So that's great. You know, and all your software, you know, for SQL Server, Azure.net, even Oracle on the other side of the business, right, as far as non-Microsoft. And used by 650,000 IT professionals. I mean, that's huge, right?
It is,
over 100,000 organizations using Redgate tools. So, Annabelle, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I run the communities and events team at Redgate.
Okay.
I've been there since 2009.
All right.
And PASS is a great event for us. We just can't miss it. It's just every year we have to go to PASS Summit. And in addition to that, we support the SQL Saturdays, the rallies all over the world. So we love being part of it.
Well, that's a big part is sponsorships and partners, right? With SQL Saturdays, being able to have the funding, you know, as we give back to the community. And without partners in any business, typically in any business, partners are critical. So having Redgate being involved in SQL Saturdays and all over the world, as we do a worldwide stream here, and telling the folks we appreciate Redgate being involved. But let's start with you. What was your most exciting thing you've seen so far at PASS Summit?
Oh, it's a good question. I think for me, it's always the ability just to speak to our customers. I mean, it sounds like it's the same as every previous year, but we've always got a new message that we're trying to push. So we're really trying to be thought leaders and push the delivery story. So application delivery has been happening for a while now, but database has always been lagging behind. So what we're doing is we're trying to innovate and provide source control for your databases, not only your application code, continuous integration, something which has only been available to developers, and we're saying we can provide that for your database as well, for SQL Server, and also release management, so automated release management, continuous delivery for your databases. This is all possible, and of course we provide the monitoring of your deployed software and the backup as well. So the full end-to-end story, and to be able to deliver this to such a large community of people here, and in such a large engaged community, it's a privilege to be here to have that opportunity.
Excellent. And I'm a Windows Azure guy. So what can you tell me about Azure and the hooks in there?
Well, we were one of the first organizations to support Azure in our tools. So I don't know how many years ago it was, but maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we got phone calls mainly from Microsoft saying, we want you to support Azure. And we had a few customers request this, and so all our tools now support SQL Azure. And if they don't, we'd like our customers to let us know what the issues are.
Yeah, absolutely.
and then we will fix it. And we've got Windows Azure tools as well. We acquired Cerebrata a year or 2 ago, and we've got a whole selection of management tools for Azure. So we're fans. We are fans.
Excellent. Well, thanks for having you on, Past TV. Where's the URL? Where would you go to get more information about Redgate? What do you want to tell our viewers there?
Absolutely. It's really simple. It's just www.red-gate.com.
All right. So, well, thank you, David.
Oh, thank
Appreciate
you very much.
it, Annabelle.
Okay.
All right, and with that, Redgate. So, great sponsor here at Past Summit. So we're moving right along. We've got another interview coming up. Before we do that, make sure and you're following us on Twitter, #PastTV. So Douglas McDowell, how you doing? Blaine Barton.
Good to meet you, Blaine.
Welcome. Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
Got the Executive Vice President of Finance of Pass here. So what do you think about all this?
This is exciting. I mean, I love the summit when it's in Seattle, but it's great to be here, and wonderful venue, good energy. We have 1,500 first-timers here.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and
they got the first-timer badge, the ribbon on there.
And every time I meet one, I say, thanks for coming, and they're just like, they've got this refreshed look on their face because they've been to other tech conferences.
Right.
And it's not about the quality of the technical education, it's about the engagement with everyone from the best experts all the way down to just somebody that has the same problem as them, and they're making friends.
Right, which then becomes, an attachment to the family, right, as far as Past Summit. I've been doing a lot of interviews. I'm probably into my 30th interview, right? And there's a consistent theme that goes on, and that is, as people go through like a reunion, of all over the world. I mean, they interface with all these folks either through blogs or through SQL Saturdays or SQL Rally or even in previous Past Summits, and have an opportunity to get together, have a couple drinks, have some fun, learn a lot about the technology, and really reunite. So
do some NASCAR tonight.
Yeah, some NASCAR experience. Left turn, left turn,
That's
left
right.
turn. Yeah, so
I'm excited to do that.
I am too, and I hope I see you over there for the NASCAR Experience Hall of Fame. So first, we talked about Past as far as you're the executive president of finance, but tell us a little about yourself. I mean, how'd you get involved with Past?
Sure.
And you can go back. We got some time.
Yeah.
Go back and how'd you get started? Were you a SQL guy? Were you more into the finance part of it, and they needed somebody to come in and help with Past? Kind of tell how you get started.
No, I've always been a SQL guy, predominantly a BI and data warehousing guy.
Okay.
And I was in Atlanta at the time, back in 2001. The folks from Past came, met with local community leaders at Tech Ed and said,
nice.
Hey, you guys want to start a chapter? And so, we raised our hand, we had the meeting, and I was part of that committee that started that Past chapter, and then was part of that leadership all the way up through 2006. And at 2006, I actually relocated up to Maryland, and at that point started helped kick off the regional mentor program at Past. And the regional mentor program is the wrong way to think about it is middle management, but really it's a way to connect all the chapter leaders, because we've got 227 chapters, and they can't, a director on the board, one or two headquarters folks can't engage actively with 220 chapter leaders and all the leaders in each of the, so Regional Mentors is all about having a set of regional mentors in every region, and we started off with just 3 of us in North America, and I had the whole Eastern Coast, and did that for a few years, rolled off of that, and then ran for the board. And I call it a slippery slope. You know, this morning when I was doing the keynote remarks, I was saying, you know, if you're not a volunteer, you should be. You know, and you're a candidate, and get into it, because there's a lot in it. And that's what happened to me, and it took me all the way to the board level. And I run a consulting business, so I do the business side of things, and that was really a way that I could continue to contribute to PASS. And so looking at the governance piece, being executive vice president of finance, and then also my big passion is a business analytics conference.
I saw that, the PASS BA conference, Talk about that real quick.
And well, Microsoft used to do the BI conference, and they did that for 2 years, mixed results. They kind of had, and those of us that were in PASS were going, we've got great BI content over here. You know, we want to do the BI conference. You can't have it. It's us. And so that kind of went around a few times, and then things got bigger than BI. And so it became business analytics, because we've got everything from, you know, the executive information management systems and all the plumbing underneath, to the big data and the logical data warehouse, to mobile and the front end. And so we had to put a bigger umbrella on that. So we partnered with Microsoft, and they said, you know, this is the time. That's the right message. Those are the right audience, and we had the opportunity to go after that. And so. The other thing, just from a sustainability and business model perspective, is that we had a lot riding on the summit as our primary fundraiser, and I talked about that a little bit this morning. If the folks on PASS TV saw the morning keynote, but you know, we have an obligation to our community to diversify our fundraising capabilities, and so the Business Analytics Conference lets us do that. We can have another premium event that's a revenue generator for us that serves a somewhat different audience and expands our community.
It's fantastic.
Talk with my hands too much.
It's so good. You're very animated. That's good. It brings people in. So, Douglas McDowell, pleasure meeting you, Executive Vice President of Finance. Now we're going to move right over to Women in Technology. We've got the session happening right now. Thanks for joining PASS TV.